the Honda Civic is no longer an affordable small car. This one, the new hybrid, costs $55,000. For that sort of coin, you could almost buy 2 Toyota Corolla Hybrids. So, is there any merit to this expensive hybrid? Let's dig in and find out. The Civic's bloodline can be traced back to 1972, and until a couple of years ago, it was a relatively affordable small car. The latest Civic is priced at $47,200 drive away for the sole VTI LX luxury version, and the hybrid now adds almost $8,000 to that price. Only the one HEV LX model grade is available. At that price, it's difficult to identify any direct rivals. And given it's also pricier than all versions of the bigger Toyota Camry Hybrid, which is Australia's top-selling petrol-electric sedan, we're not quite sure who it's pitched at or who's going to buy it. And it's unlikely Honda knows either. Like Toyota, Honda has gone down the plugless hybrid path, which has worked incredibly well for Toyota over the years. This one is a bit more sophisticated than what Toyota offers. So you've got the 2-litre petrol engine plus 2 electric motors, and of course the battery and transmission. Combined, they bang out more power and torque than any mainstream Civic to date, excluding the tyre-frying Civic Type R, of course. The petrol engine has 4 different drive modes: Eco, Normal, Sport and Individual, so there's a lot of permutations going on here given all the different ways the drive can go to the front wheels and then all those modes you can select. A fixed gear eCVT transmission drives the front wheels, and the end result is a Toyota Corolla Hybrid matching 4.2 litres per 100 kilometres, despite offering around double the power and torque. As far as the design goes, it doesn't have the visual gravitas of, say, a small European car that you can get for similar money, but compared to its predecessor, it looks pretty cool. It's much lower to the ground, it's longer, it's wider, and it does have quite a bit of presence. Compared to the regular Honda Civic, you really have to look closely for differences, with only EHEV and blue Honda badges and a slightly revised rear bumper with hidden exhaust outlets the main differences. From 20 paces, you'd never pick them apart. I like what Honda has done with this cabin. The overall design is quite modest and pared back when you look at it, but dig a little deeper and you'll find all the materials in use are really high quality. For instance, the steering wheel, it feels great, and even the little things like the temperature controls, it doesn't feel cheap. It feels pretty upmarket. The seats are really comfortable. They're one of the standout features of the cabin. And finally, we have real leather upholstery. And lumbar adjust. Hallelujah! But the power adjustable seats still don't get ventilation, which is pretty poor for a mainstream Asian car that costs $55,000. The 9-inch central touchscreen is really quite good. It's got high resolution, the menu system is easy to use, and there's some hybrid specific pages on there as well, which is really good. You can see where the power's going. Another thing, I love the fact they've kept an actual volume dial in there as well. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, plus a big wireless phone charger, twin USB ports, 12-volt socket, and incidental storage is actually pretty reasonable as well. A full-width 10-inch digital driver's display looks great and works well, while the panoramic glass roof adds an airy feel to the cabin, but there's still no head-up display or 360-degree parking camera, which is not great for this price. The Civic Hybrid is the first Honda in Australia to debut the brand's integrated smartphone car app called Honda Connect. The marketing types really earned their keep with that name. But in all seriousness, it is a pretty compelling feature, allowing owners to remotely control and monitor car systems via the smartphone app. You can track the vehicle and every drive is recorded and mapped, and the app will show you where you park the car, flash the lights so you can find it in a crowded shopping centre car park, and plenty more features besides. The back seats are quite roomy and comfortable. There's plenty of leg room for this 6-foot Sapien. Headroom not so good, and it might be because you've got this new sunroof in there. Seat comfort is really good, And amenities improved too. You've now got USB ports, which the regular Civic does not get. You've also got air vents, grab handles, fold-out armrest with cup holders, but again, no specific reading lights. You do have this central LED light, but kind of nice to have something there. Pop the manually operated lift back and you expose a rather wide and deep boot. Cargo space is actually really good for a small car, but part of the reason for that is because they've removed the spare tyre. Instead, you get an inflator and repair kit. Like the regular Civic hatch, the Hybrid's driving dynamics are definitely above par for a mainstream small car. It's just more fun and feels more tied to the road than most of its competitors. And that's doubly impressive given there's an extra 150 kilograms of weight in this model thanks to the electric motors and the battery. Now, Honda has tweaked the suspension to offset that extra weight and the result is impressive. It still tips into corners with eagerness and feels really nimble on its feet. The hybrid powertrain is more powerful than its petrol-only sibling, but it doesn't feel particularly rapid, especially accelerating from standstill. It's certainly no hot hatch, but the extra torque from the electric motor does make overtaking nice and easy. The hybrid powertrain is super refined and eagerly switches to EV mode for reasonable distances, certainly more than Toyota hybrids generally manage. The Civic Hybrid is a really well-balanced package. It feels more like a luxury car in the way it drives than a non-luxury car. It's really well bolted together, it feels really solid, and in terms of fuel efficiency, it does pretty well too. I mean, this is only a one-day test drive that we've had it on here, but we got pretty close to the official claim in regular driving, which bodes quite well for saving fuel in a vehicle like this. The only issue there is how much fuel could you get for the roughly $8,000 extra you're going to pay for this? Yes, I know you get a few more features here and there, but it's still something a lot of buyers are going to have to consider. The Civic Hybrid is a very, very polished small car. It's sophisticated, refined and efficient like few other Japanese vehicles, but it's also fun and engaging to drive. If it wasn't so expensive, or if there was an entry-level variant priced at around $40K, it would be a rolled gold ripper. But at this price, you can get a German badge instead of a Japanese one, which will be pretty compelling if you've got $55K to burn. Beautifully engineered and splendidly finished. There's a lot to recommend about this new Civic Hybrid, but it breaks my heart that so few Aussies will get to experience this because of its extravagant price.